And we are joined now by Nathan Grubel of No Ceilings. Nathan has been on the show before. Nathan always gives us great stuff as it pertains to the draft, and we want to keep that going here. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us.
What's up, Allen? How we doing?
Good, man. Hey, season starts tonight for the Kings, and we're hoping that things get off on the right foot. How are you doing?
Oh, we're living the dream. Like you said, it's opening night for the Sacramento Kings. It was opening night for the league last night.
Yeah.
2 incredible games right out of the gate. I mean, NBA fans are in heaven right now. This is some awesome stuff. I can't wait for the rest of the league to tip off tonight.
Yeah, it's going down, Nathan. Let's start here. As happy as we are that the season is tipping off for everybody tonight, a lot of guys will be missing. A lot of guys will be MIA, missing in action, including Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray for the Sacramento Kings. So we're looking here, Nathan, and obviously we want to talk about the younger players on the Kings because you guys do such a great job with the draft. Who do you think is better fit to maybe help out at the 4? Doug Christie has said they're going to fill in with different guys, and it's going to be kind of matchup based. But between Maxime Reynaud, who's Maxime's coach from Stanford, said he's probably more fit to play the 4 in the NBA, and Nick Clifford, we know he goes about 6'6", and it could be a day-by-day thing. If it's a smaller 4, he could hang around. Do you think this is a situation where either of them could play the 4, neither of them could play the 4, one of them more than the other? Give us your thoughts on the rookies maybe being thrown into the fire.
I think either of them could step up and play the 4, but me personally, just given how the rest of the roster's shaken out for opening night and this short interim stretch like we're talking about here without those guys, I want to see Nick Clifford get those minutes. The reason why is because, we've already heard, Doug Christie's already had to talk about how many different guards are in the rotation, the different guys that they're going to have to incorporate in order to maximize the fact that they won't have a lot of interior presence early on. It means they're going to have to play a hectic style, right? They're going to have to play a lot of transition up and down basketball. And you have someone in Nick Clifford, who we saw at Colorado State multiple years in college, be that type of ball handler who can run pick and rolls. He can make plays for you. He can cut, find the next guy, the next read. That's the type of passing, quick decision-making, and overall athletic burst that you're going to need from that 4 spot that can really help everyone else on the Sacramento Kings play to their strengths. You obviously have guys like Keon Ellis, another young guard, who a lot of people like. Really, a lot of their other guys, they thrive in transition. And then defensively, they're going to have to really work together, make a lot of plays, get everybody out running. And in order to take advantage of that transition style, you need as many guys who can grab a rebound, push the pace, make that next read. Nick Clifford, one of the best rebounders we had in college basketball last year. That was a shining strength of his in the draft. I think he can still provide that type of rebounding at that 4 spot. And then again, grab that rebound, push the pace. Let's see the Sacramento Kings try and score 130, 140 points tonight.
I would love to see that. Talking to Nathan Grubel of No Ceilings. Nathan, let's go here. Another guy that the Kings signed. He did not get drafted, but the Kings signed. Very interesting. I think defensively, he might already be ready for the bright lights of the NBA, but offensively, he's not there yet. I'm talking about Dylan Cardwell, who I sat down with on media day. I mean, he's a dog defensively, and when Scott Perry was on these airwaves, he was one of the first names that came out of Scott Perry's mouth. I'm a little, I guess, confused, for lack of a better term, Nathan, with what to do with Dylan Cardwell, what his comp is. I think he has to play the 5 based on his offensive skill set, but give us your thoughts on Dylan Cardwell. Could he help out? Hopefully Domantas Sabonis hasn't gone that long, but could he help out at all in the center 4 capacity?
I'm going to give a shout out to my co-host on No Ceilings NBA. We're doing a podcast right now, Locked on No Ceilings NBA Draft, and Maxwell Baumbach was very high on Dylan Cardwell last year in the draft when no one else really wanted to necessarily buy in, myself included. But the more you watch of Cardwell, the more you really appreciate what he does on tape. A lot of the numbers aren't going to necessarily blow you away, but as a big man, really strong frame. He does a lot of the little things. He's a great screen setter. He's someone who boxes out opponents really well. He'll seal guys off to give guys opportunities at the basket to go score. He'll obviously rebound on both sides of the ball, get you those offensive rebounding and scoring opportunities. He's the perfect guy to step in and do a lot of the dirty work for the Kings while they're missing some of that interior size. So Cardwell, not necessarily the sexiest name we can talk about in terms of Kings players tonight, but trust me, you watch the tape, Kings fans are going to appreciate how hard he works and how much of a pain in the butt he is to deal with at that center position, and maybe can even slide into that four. We're seeing a lot of double big lineups come back. I mean, we saw it last night with the Rockets, that Şengün, Steven Adams look. We can see the Kings, even when they get guys like Domantas Sabonis back, you can play Cardwell, in my opinion, next to a Sabonis. Drew Eubanks is who they're going to have filling in for the time being, whether we see some Dario Saric minutes or not. I think Cardwell can and should get some run at the 4 or the 5.
Talking to Nathan Grubel of No Ceilings. Nathan, let's talk a little bit about some guys that have graduated out of No Ceilings, but they're just a year removed. Let's start here with Devin Carter. Devin Carter, it's been a rough stretch. He was injured. He was injured when he was drafted. Whether the Kings knew or not, it's still a mystery that'll come out in a 30 for 30 20 years from now. And now, their conversations, Mark Stott, he's been in trade talks. All this stuff has happened. Where are you at with Devin Carter, and what do you think is a good situation for him to be in? We're trying to figure out, not that we're trying to move off of him, but there's 2,000 guards on this Kings team. The teams that aren't very good seem to more so want their own guys to start out with. He's already 23. I don't know what to do with Devin Carter, Nathan.
A lot of his skill sets are overlapping in a sense with someone like Keon Ellis, and I understand Kings fans might be a little higher on Keon Ellis right out of the gate because you have more confidence in him to be able to shoot the basketball.
Yeah.
That is something that Devin Carter's still working with at the NBA level, but I think in Carter's case, you kind of just have to keep letting him play and give him reps at the point guard spot, because I think ultimately that's who he is that 1-2 combo guard, but you want to give him as many on-ball reps as possible to build out that skill set. Early in his college career, he wasn't this do-it-all point guard. He eventually took on that role when he got to Providence, and that's really how he broke out as an NBA draft prospect. But when you move it to the NBA level, you're making adjustments all the time in terms of the different types of defensive coverages that you have to read, the speed of the game, the flow of the game, adjusting to playing with new teammates. He didn't necessarily get a ton of opportunities with some of the top Kings guys last year. So it's really about finding that chemistry, building it, and seeing where he can fit in offensively, because defensively, he is that type of chaotic defensive playmaker that you want out on the perimeter to get this team running and going in transition. But you just have to be a little bit patient to let him find his role offensively. I will say, saw him up close and personal at Summer League out in Las Vegas. I saw a lot of what I liked with him and Nick Clifford working off of each other, again, playing that up-tempo style. I think there is still something there for Devin Carter, especially if he gets that three-point shot to come around. Kings fans just have to be a little patient with him. Just give him some opportunity to work it out himself.
Talking to Nathan Grubel of No Ceilings. Great draft coverage. Be sure to check out No Ceilings. How about this, Nathan? I've been throwing this around because there was a name that I wanted the Kings to say on draft night. That there are a couple names, but there was a name that I wanted the Kings to say on draft night that they didn't say. And he also, based on a trade that ended up getting destroyed and the whole thing got thrown off by the lack of health or whatever the case may be, Dalton Knecht. I keep saying, Nathan, why don't you just flip Dalton Knecht and Devin Carter? I think they still have something to them, and they just need better situations. The Lakers last night, I don't know, they need some defense. Why not? They're still trying to run out Gabe Vincent, whatever the case may be. That's a thought that I had. I don't know what's going on, Dalton Knecht. Some of these reports that he's a, quote, negative asset. What happened to my man, Nathan? What happened to my guy?
Your questions are 100% valid. They're questions that I've had because I rated Dalton Knecht very highly in that draft class. And as of this current moment in time, I'm proven wrong on that. But I think with Dalton, listen, all the stuff happened last year with that rescinded trade that you talked about. There needs to be a team that trusts in him to be himself, and they need to enable him to be himself. And that means battling through a lot of the shortcomings that he's had to face. We know that he's not the best of defenders. He struggled with that. He didn't necessarily have the best defensive coaching coming up in college. He played at smaller schools, really was a grinder to get to where he ended up to at Tennessee. But that was something that was always going to be an area for improvement for him. But in order to take advantage of the best of what he does offensively, you have to get a little creative in how you utilize him. You have to put him in different motion styles. He can't just be someone who's sitting in the corner and you're going to expect to get the best out of him. The whole point of Connect at Tennessee was that he was a movement shooter. He was someone who had incredible conditioning and stamina. They ran him all over the floor, and he was able to essentially wear out the guy who was defending him and get up some of those threes and some pull-up shots inside the arc that you were looking for. So if you're only going to have him as a stationary shooter, you're not going to get the most value out of him.
Right.
You need to incorporate him more into the flow of the offense. So if that's something that Doug Christie and Sacramento would be interested in, maybe eventually down the road they target making a swap or bringing him in, something along those lines. I could see him working alongside someone like a Sabonis, because Sabonis loves those guys who are on the move. He loves cutters. He loves guys who are looking to get open on the move for shooting opportunities. That's the type of player I could see Connect being for the Kings. But right now with the Lakers, it's just, I can imagine it's hard for him, and I don't know Connect. I'm not necessarily putting anything out there in that sense, but I can imagine it could be hard to be involved in that situation. Now you're trying to find where you sit with the team and what level of trust is there. How much do they believe in him? How much does he believe in that front office, that organization? We don't have the answer to those questions. So I can imagine right now it's been pretty difficult for him.
Nathan, one more for you, and it's kind of a bonus. You know you're covering the Sacramento Kings, Nathan, when last week I think I spent about 30 minutes on Isaiah Crawford, who balled out for the Houston Rockets. The Kings essentially said, hey, we'll kind of let you go. They're going to bring in more 28-year-olds to the G League. And he goes to Houston, and obviously he's not going to get much time, but he balled out. And the Hawks, they had pretty much their whole lineup besides one or two guys, a pretty solid rotation. Give us your thoughts on the Kings deciding not to move forward with Isaiah Crawford. Am I making it a bigger deal than it should be, or does this kid have a little something here? Mind you, Keegan being out, and we got 8,000 guards, but you're saying goodbye to a 22, 23-year-old 6'6" guy. I'll stop right there, Nathan, and let you go.
So that's the thing, right? Is we're looking at these opportunities where you're lacking a little bit of front court depth, and while Crawford isn't your traditional four-man, he has the length of one. That ridiculous wingspan of his, those massive hands, his ability to help you on the glass, play different positions defensively, dig down, force turnovers, create steals. You would have loved to have that on the wing if you're a Kings fan, even in any capacity. I agree with you. I don't know why they let him walk. To me, he fit the identity of everything that they've built with this quote-unquote young core of theirs, which is to just be a pain in the rear to deal with on a night-to-night basis. I mean, you go down the list of every single young player the Kings have. Even Maxime Reynaud has a little bit of a mean streak to him, even though you don't consider him like a defender. He can mix it up with some people down low even when he needs to. So that's the identity the Kings have built with this young core. I'm sad to see him walk, but you bring in guys like Cardwell. You still have Nick Clifford in the mix. You have Devin Carter in the mix. Listen, I am a big fan of the young guys the Kings have. Yeah. I just want to see them play a lot of minutes, man. Like that's what I want. I don't want to see them buried too far down by the vets. We know it's a vet-heavy team at the top, but give the young guys some opportunity. Give Kings fans something to be excited about that's not Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook, a lot of the names we know and love. It's time to give some new guys some opportunity as well. So that's all that I'm hoping to see. Maybe not right out of the gate for the Kings, but when we get 10, 15 games in and I'm flipping on a Kings game, that's what I personally want to see. Nathan,
super bonus for you, because I wanted to get this. We run the Tankathon every day, okay? And there's some fans out there that don't want they don't want to tank, and I understand that. I'm not even saying to fully tank, Nathan, but we just watched AJ DeBanza a couple nights ago. Then last night, we watched Cam Boozer. In a couple words, Nathan, can you tell the good people of Sacramento how ridiculous the 2026 draft class is supposed to be?
I will take this opportunity to just very quickly talk about Cam Boozer. Everyone saw his debut at Duke last night. He's the number one prospect on my 2026 board. I don't see that changing. The last time I took such a hard stance on a number one prospect who wasn't the clear-cut number one before, like a Wemby or a Coop. It was 2019 with Zion.
Yeah.
And I feel that exact same way. You had Zion, you had RJ Barrett, you had Cam Reddish in that draft. A lot of people were on RJ Barrett or Cam Reddish Island. Not as many people are on the Zion Island. You gave him 3 games at Duke. They had to come around and say, oh, man,
right,
this guy might actually be the top player in the class. I feel that same way about Cam Boozer, 6'10", strong forward. So a lot of the stuff that he was doing shooting off the move last night was just making me laugh. It was silly. He's the best rebounder they have. His resume in terms of winning at the high school level and at the FIBA level is utterly insane. We haven't seen a domestic resume like that in quite some time. Rivals what Luka Doncic's resume was overseas, and everyone saw how decorated he was coming in. A lot of people thought he should have been number one. Yeah. I'm taking up that real estate on Cam Boozer Island. If the Kings are going to be in that position, the draft number one, you never know how things could turn out. I would hope they take Cam Boozer number one. But yes, this is going to be a ridiculous top of the class for sure.
I'm telling you, Nathan Grubel of No Ceilings. Nathan, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, man. Let's do it again. Look, hopefully the Kings make the playoffs, but if they don't, I would love to have you back on and figure out, okay, the Kings got the 4th pick. Well, who do you like, or maybe higher than that? Be sure to follow Nathan on social media and check out all his good work at No Ceilings. Nathan, we will talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Sacramento Kings, Stockton Kings, NBA draft, whatever you need me for, Allen. Happy to stop by. Take care.
There you go. Thank you again to Nathan Grubel. We got to get to the other side. And when we do, we keep the conversation going. Who could surprise us this upcoming season? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.